A normal day, a sudden disappearance. It began like any other Wednesday in Baltimore County, Maryland. January 13th, 1999, 18-year-old Hae Min Lee, a high-achieving senior at Woodlawn High School, moved through her routine with purpose, classes, friends, and an afternoon filled with responsibilities. She had every intention of picking up her younger cousin and reporting to her job at LensCrafters. But then, she vanished. Hae never showed up to collect her cousin. She missed her shift. Without warning, for those who knew her, alarm bells rang immediately. By 3:15 p.m., her absence had shifted from strange to terrifying. And by 5 p.m., her worried family made the call that would ignite one of the most controversial investigations in recent memory. The search begins. The moment Hae was reported missing, a web of questions began to form, and investigators wasted no time trying to untangle it. They started with her friends and classmates, including 17-year-old Adnan Syed, her ex-boyfriend. Adnan claimed he last saw her leaving school that afternoon. Nothing unusual. Next came Don, Hae's current boyfriend. He told police their last conversation was the day before she vanished.
This is very difficult,
and like everyone else, he was at a loss.
Can you please tell me what happened?
But as days turned into weeks, the silence around Hae's disappearance grew deafening. Her car, a 1998 Nissan Sentra, was missing. No hospitals had record of her. No park search turned up clues. A once vibrant teenager had seemingly disappeared without a trace, and no one could explain why. A body in Leakin Park, nearly a month after Hae vanished. The case took a chilling turn, February 9th. While cutting through Baltimore's infamous Leakin Park, a man named Alonzo Sellers stumbled upon something deeply unsettling: a human body, partially buried in the cold, damp earth. Leakin Park wasn't just any park. Locals knew it as a dumping ground, a place whispered about in dark conversations. When police arrived,
let's secure this area.
Their worst fears were confirmed. The remains belonged to Hae Min Lee. She had been killed, strangled by hand. In an instant, the mystery of her disappearance transformed into a homicide investigation. For Hae's devastated family, the hope of finding her alive was shattered. Now, the question wasn't just where Hae had gone, but who had taken her life. A tip and a turn. Just as the investigation stalled, a mysterious phone call changed everything. An anonymous tipster urged police to focus on one person, Adnan Syed. That call led detectives to Jay Wilds, a casual acquaintance of Adnan's. What Jay revealed would crack the case wide open. He claimed Adnan not only confessed to killing Hae, but also recruited him to help bury her body. According to Jay, on the very day Hae disappeared, Adnan popped open the trunk of her car in a Best Buy parking lot, and there she was. It was a bombshell allegation, but as Jay kept talking, his story kept shifting, raising eyebrows, doubts, and a storm of controversy.
This is what happened.
That would follow the case for decades. The cell phone evidence, in a case built on timelines and memory, one piece of technology became a silent witness. February 16th, investigators secured Adnan's cell phone records, pairing call logs with tower pings to back up Jay's version of events. It was a digital trail the prosecution would lean on heavily, but even as the case seemed to tighten, cracks were already forming. Experts and defense attorneys would later question just how reliable that data really was. Then, February 28th, police moved in. Adnan Syed, just 17 years old, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. His family turned to Cristina Gutierrez, a high-profile defense attorney with a reputation for fighting hard. But behind the scenes, Her strategy and her struggles would soon become part of the story itself. The trials. As the courtroom lights came on, so did the nation's focus. Adnan Syed's first trial launched in December 1999, but it collapsed almost as quickly as it began. A fiery exchange between his attorney and the judge was overheard by the jury. It forced a mistrial. What's striking? Several jurors later admitted they were leaning toward acquittal. Then came round two, January 2000. This time, the prosecution came out swinging. Their case? Anchored on Jay's shifting testimony and the cell phone records. Their narrative was clear. Adnan killed Hae out of jealousy, and Jay helped him hide the evidence. Despite glaring inconsistencies in Jay's accounts, the jury rendered a swift and devastating verdict. February 5, 2000, Adnan was found guilty on all major counts. At sentencing, Hae's mother's voice broke the courtroom silence with unimaginable pain. Adnan was sentenced to life in prison, plus 30 years. Appeals and new evidence. For more than a decade behind bars, Adnan Syed never wavered. He insisted he was innocent. In 2010, a glimmer of hope emerged. He filed for post-conviction relief, arguing that his defense had failed him. The key point? An alibi witness, named Asia McClain. She claimed she was with Adnan at the exact time prosecutors said he was killing Hae, at the public library. But in 2014, that hope was crushed. The court ruled that his attorney's decision not to call McClain was strategic, not negligent. Then, the story shifted again. March 2022, after years of public scrutiny and mounting legal pressure, Adnan's team, alongside the Baltimore City State's attorney, filed for new DNA testing, and what they found was shocking. Key evidence, Hae's clothing, shoes, and rape kit, had never been tested. When they finally were, the results were definitive. The DNA didn't match Adnan Syed. A legal earthquake. After years of courtroom battles and public debate, a seismic shift rocked the case. September 19, 2022, a Baltimore judge vacated Adnan Syed's conviction, citing critical flaws in the original investigation, Brady violations, questionable cell tower evidence, and the surfacing of new potential suspects. After more than 20 years behind bars, Adnan walked free, but just when it seemed the case had reached its conclusion, it erupted once more. Hae Min Lee's brother, young Lee, challenged the decision. He said he wasn't properly notified of the hearing and was denied his right to be present. In March 2023, the appellate court sided with him, not because of new facts, but on a technicality. They ruled that Adnan's conviction must be reinstated, citing a violation of due process. The legal roller coaster was far from over. The latest chapter, just when the world thought Adnan Syed's story might finally be over, it teetered once again. On the edge of uncertainty, his defense team filed yet another appeal, and for months, one question loomed: would his freedom last? Then came August 30th, 2024, in a razor-thin 4-3 decision. The Maryland Supreme Court dropped a bombshell. Adnan's conviction was officially reinstated, but the story wasn't finished. The court also ordered a do-over of the original vacatur hearing, acknowledging the procedural flaws that had sparked national debate. For now, Adnan remains out of prison, but with another hearing on the horizon, the case that has captivated millions is far from its final verdict. A case that won't rest. Few cases have gripped the public conscience quite like this one. The murder of Hae Min Lee and the conviction of Adnan Syed has echoed through time, dissected in courtrooms, debated in documentaries, and re-examined in countless headlines and podcasts. It's become more than a case. It's a cultural mirror reflecting justice, doubt, and the limits of truth. At its core lies a heartbreaking reality. a bright young woman's life brutally cut short, and a young man who still insists he had nothing to do with it. So we're left with a question that refuses to fade. Did the system get it right, or does the real truth remain buried, lost in unreliable memories, flawed data, and the weight of 26 years?